What's up? Doing some conversations today, some interviews, if you're interested.
Talk to you for a minute about astrology.
Sure.
I love talking about that shit.
Cool. Oh, I love Vail. Go try to go there skiing at least once a year or so.
Yeah, my family goes skiing there pretty much every winter, so.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Sweet. Want to do headphones?
Sure.
Awesome. Check to check. What's up?
What's up?
Hey. So yeah, my name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
I'm Lucas.
Lucas, gotcha.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Do you mind if I record and live stream? Is that cool?
Go for it, dude.
Thank you. This one takes up so much hard drive space. I have to record it. Everything else is just recording, but this one I need to remember to press record. It takes up so much space.
Technology be like that.
Yeah. So yeah, want to talk about astrology? Is that what you want to do?
Sure. I mean, I love astrology. I got into it over COVID, and been learning more and more and getting more and more confused the deeper I go.
You got into it over COVID, so it's a new thing for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always knew what my sun sign was. Like, I knew, I was born January 18th, so I'm a Capricorn. But then I started getting deeper and deeper. At some point, somebody convinced me to download CoStar, and I started to figure out what all my other planetary placements were. And from there, it just all went downhill, and I got sucked into it.
It all went downhill?
Yeah, I guess so. Downhill, uphill. I just got sucked into the vortex of astrology because the more I learn about it, the more I see that it's a way to understand your own self. Everybody's birth chart is something unique because it is the exact moment, the exact place that you were born on this planet, where unless there was someone born at the exact same moment in the exact same place on the planet as you, which it's possible, but there's very few. I mean, nobody else has that, I guess, outline of life.
Okay. Maybe rather than focusing on astrology itself, we could focus on this broader question of, like, what's the best way to understand yourself?
Ooh.
And astrology is one potential answer to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my whole life has been, the question, who are you, has been in the back of my mind. It's why I'm here pursuing a philosophy degree in part.
Philosophy, awesome.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily rose-colored glasses that you look through, but it's, oh God, what is it called? Like a stained glass window, where you can look through it in the light of, I guess, truth or knowledge, as Plato would put it, shines through in a particular way. So you can see yourself as, I'm a Capricorn, or I'm an Aries, or a Cancer, or whatever star sign, and that has some particular meaning and can help you understand yourself in some way. Like, I've always been very stubborn regarding a lot of things in my life. And
Capricorns are stubborn?
Capricorns are stubborn. They're stereotypically the workers, like, don't have any feelings, like, I just want to work, I'm going to be the CEO, don't get in my way, a goat. A stubborn goat. That helped me understand myself to a degree, but then the more I looked into astrology, the more I started to see, it's not just that I'm a Capricorn, it's that where all the planets are. Your whole birth chart is who you are. It's not just what your sun is or what your moon is or anything else. It's all the planets and all of the universe playing into you at the exact moment of your creation, saying, hey, this is where you started and this is what you've got to work with going out from here. And then you can see how the planets play into it over your life. There's this concept of a Saturn return, because Saturn takes about 28 to 30 years to completely orbit the sun. So around the age 30, like, you have what's called the Saturn return, and that's usually a marked point in life where a lot of people start to find okay, I've spent like the first 30 years of my life trying to figure out who I am, what I want to do, and then that's a point in life where a lot of people really settle into a career or start a family and start to go forward through their next Saturn orbit. Like, this is my life, this is what I'm doing. And then, 60 is about the retirement age, and then there's another change. So there's all these different ways that it colors life, which I've just found really incredible.
Yeah, is it a kind of system to kind of be a metaphor for ourselves, or is it like a thing that is actually causing us to be different?
That's a good question. The modern astrology that's practiced today is, I guess, like archetypal, Jungian, psychological astrology. Okay, how can I understand myself? Like, what are my psychological traits? How do I express my emotions? How do I express myself to the whole world, etc., etc., etc.? But, the history of astrology goes back thousands of years. The Hellenistic tradition in Mesopotamia and Greece. I was listening to a podcast last night about these things called minor aspects, and they were talking about Kepler. And at that time, astrology and astronomy were one and the same. It wasn't that astrology was all woo-woo and astronomy was a hard science. It was, let's understand the stars and the planets. And Kepler was influential because he started what would become to be known as astronomy, and when it separated from astrology. But he looked at both those things. He figured out the planets were ellipses, etc., etc., but he still had astrological beliefs as well. And so it goes way back in time as like humans looking up into the stars, seeing that great expanse of space, all the fixed stars and everything around us, and all the planets, thinking, what are those? What could they mean? Like the harmonics of the planets. It's the seven spheres, God, whatever you want to call it, up there. And it's just this big source of wonder that has seemed to capture people for thousands of years.
Big source of wonder, cool.
Yeah.
And it's kind of related to philosophy, the level of wisdom, so yeah, awesome. So astrology is one way to potentially understand yourself. What are some other things that we could put on the table for answering that question?
There's lots of options. The most foolproof way is introspection and self-reflection. To ask yourself, okay, what do I like to do? Even as simple as that. If you like to skateboard, like, part of who you are is someone who skateboards. If you like to cook, part of who you are is that you like to cook. And it's a never-ending spiral because who you are is constantly changing. A good way that helped me understand it was I look back at who I was when I was 6. Clearly, that individual was a lot different than I am now. First of all, physically. Mm-hmm. Second of all, mentally, and probably in a lot of other capacities. I'm a completely different person, but I have those same memories, and I've been in the same body. But it's grown and it's changed, and my likes and dislikes have done the same. So understanding yourself is just a constant process of getting down to the root of, okay, who am I in this moment? Soren Kierkegaard in The Sickness Unto Death talked about the two major forms of suffering. One was trying to be somebody else, and the second was trying to be yourself. Because in either situation, you're striving to be somebody that you are not currently in this moment. Yeah. And so I think the best way to understand yourself, at least who you are right now, is to stop, take that inventory, and just ask, who am I right now? What am I doing? What do I like? Like, what gives me motivation, or what am I passionate about?
Right. Cool. So astrology and introspection. Anything else to add to that table? as options?
I mean, other people too. One thing that I've been meaning to do is start to call some of the closest people in my life and ask them, when you think about me, what are the first words that come to mind? Good or bad? Because I've done enough thinking in my own head, and I have a picture of who I am, but that's from the inside looking out. And so I ask, like, my mom or my dad or my sister or friends from middle school or past relationships, hey, like, when you think about me, what's the first word that comes to mind? Like, how would you describe me? To try to see how I'm viewed from the outside in, and not necessarily look at the world from this very blinded, egotistical, the world is all about me type view.
Right. Gotcha. So opinion of friends and family, is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. If we had to put these on a scale from 0 to 10 in terms of the reliability of understanding yourself, where would astrology be? Where would introspection be? And where would be opinion of friends and family? If like 10 is like the best, you know, if you did this, you would know for certain who you are, and you know.
Well, I would say that introspection is definitely top dog.
It's the best?
Yeah, it's probably the best way to understand yourself, because nobody can understand you better than you can. You've lived with yourself your entire life, so you understand yourself more than anybody, even your own family. And I'd say probably friends and family understand you pretty well, especially the close ones. And then astrology sits in this weird place because it's like a form of introspection. It's just an outside source that allows you to look at yourself from a certain perspective and think of yourself in a certain way. Just the same way if you read a prompting psychological book. It's like, oh, do this exercise, think about this, like visualize this, like what comes up. It's the same sort of thing. So it is introspection in a sense, but I don't think that the position of Saturn necessarily determines how my life is going to go. Maybe it does, but I don't know. What I do know is that I can introspect and I can ask myself, who am I? And that's a more surefire way to get to the root of who I am. And then, you know, friends and family have a limited view of you, and then astrology has the same. So, I mean, I'd give introspection like an 8 or a 9. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Friends and family maybe like a 5 or a 6, and astrology a 4 or a 5. But they're all important in how you use them. If you use the opinion of friends and family wrong, it can totally ruin you figuring out who you are, because you can only hear the bad things or you can only hear the good things, and you can miss the point of what they're saying and how that can help you grow and change and become who you are. And I mean, astrology, you can read that totally wrong too. I mean, people do it all the time.
You can read it wrong with astrology?
Yeah. I mean, it's all interpretation. There's just like the planets are where they are. There's like, that's empirical. Nothing can change that. The sun is like in this part of the sky. It's in this part of the orbit around Earth. The other planets are in XYZ relationship to it. But I mean, the zodiac is a totally man-made constructed idea. And so, but it's just a helpful tool to understand. It's just a tool.
A tool to understand ourselves?
Ourselves, others, the way we all interact, like the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
It's
Is it reliable at doing that? How does it know anything about us?
It doesn't. But we know everything about us.
Okay.
It's like a pair of glasses that you put on. So like if you put on your reading glasses when you go to read something, you put on your astrology glasses when you go to learn about astrology, you put on your social glasses when you go out with friends, your cooking glasses when you cook, etc., etc. It's all these different hats that you're wearing in life that all sum up to who you are. And who is that? whoever you think you are.
And astrology has an opinion about people. Should we follow the opinion of whatever astrology says?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
If it's a guide, it's a helpful tool. If you find that the explanation that astrology gives for a lot of who you are is accurate and that helps you, yeah, absolutely take that. But take it with a grain of salt because you change. And it's hard to know anything with certainty in this world. There's a lot of things that we can get really close to knowing with certainty, but so many things change and develop. I mean, cell phones. Like 20 years ago, cell phones were these big bricks that like only a couple of people had. But now everyone's got like this slim little like supercomputer in their pocket. Things change and really rapidly in our day and age. So it's stood the test of time and proven to work in various ways, but by no means is it like 100% accurate.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is, yeah, the test of time. It's survived and that's a reason to give
Credence
to astrology and
yeah. I mean, there's lots of things that like blew up, got huge, and you're like, this is going to be the next big thing. It's going to color our decade or our century, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Like, you remember the whip and the nene?
Yeah.
Like, what happened to that? But astrology's been around since like BCE, and people are still using it, and it's still working in sort of the same way that it's always worked. It's just changed over time. Same thing with introspection. People have asked themselves like difficult questions about who they are and what's the meaning of the universe, etc., for probably all of human history. We've had friends and family for probably all of human history. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, great. Well, if you see him again, we'll love to continue the chat, or we can keep going, whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. I gotta run home. I've got some stuff to do, some
No worries.
things to catch up on before Thanksgiving. But thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you, Lucas. I'd like to offer people one of these little yellow, blue, or red puzzle pieces. Feel free to pick a color. They're little like stress balls, and you can come back and get another color if you want. If you see me again.
Those are cool. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too, bud. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
It's always fun to talk about it.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Keep it up, man. This is cool.
Thank you. And I've got a card over there if you want to grab my social on the board over there. Sweet. See you around.